Psalm 55, verse 22. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Say that with me again, slowly. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. I know what tonight feels like for you. Maybe it's loneliness pressing on your chest in a quiet room. Maybe it's the waiting, the kind that has no end date, the kind that makes you check your phone for news that isn't coming. Maybe it's doubt, circling the same question you can't answer. Maybe you are simply tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. I am not asking you to pretend that away. I am asking you to hand it to me. Stay with me for the next few minutes. I have something to show you in this verse that you have likely walked past 100 times without seeing what it actually says. The man who wrote this verse was David, and he did not write it from a place of peace. Psalm 55 opens with him begging me to listen, describing a heart in anguish, a horror overwhelming him. A few verses later he says he wishes he had wings like a dove so he could fly away and be at rest. This is not a tidy prayer. This is a man unraveling. Now look closely at the word cast. In the language David wrote in, that word is shalak, and it does not mean to gently set something down. It means to hurl, to throw with force. The same word used elsewhere for throwing something away from you entirely. This is not a passive release. This is a deliberate, physical, decisive act. You have probably heard cast your cares preached as something soft, a whisper, a slow exhale. But David's word is closer to a discus throw than a sigh. It is you, standing at the edge of what's crushing you and throwing it hard in a direction away from yourself and toward me. This matters for you tonight because you may have been trying to manage your burden instead of throwing it. Managing means you still carry it, just more carefully. Throwing means it leaves your hands. Notice too what the verse promises in return. I will sustain you. That word in David's language is kul. It means to nourish, to carry, to provide for, the way a person provides for a household. It's the same root used for feeding and keeping alive. This is not me saying I'll acknowledge your burden. This is me saying that once it leaves your hands, I take on the work of keeping you fed, upright, and alive through what you're facing. You were never built to carry what you're carrying. I was. Read the verse again. He will never let the righteous be shaken. That word, righteous, is where most people quietly disqualify themselves. You hear righteous, and your mind goes to a standard you haven't met, some moral scorecard you're behind on, sins you're still carrying guilt over, a version of yourself that has it together, that prays right, that doesn't struggle the way you do. So you read the promise, you look at your own life, and you assume it's not for you yet. Maybe once you've cleaned something up, maybe once you've been more consistent, maybe once you feel more like the kind of person this verse is talking about. I want to correct that reading gently, because it is costing you the very thing I'm offering. Go back a few verses in this same psalm. David is not describing himself as flawless. He's describing himself as betrayed, panicked, wishing he could run. And in verse 16 and 17, he tells you exactly what he did instead of running. As for me, I call to God, and the Lord saves me. Evening, morning, and noon I cry out in distress, and he hears my voice. That is what righteous means in this psalm. Not sinless, not composed, not a person who has already conquered their fear. A person who keeps turning toward me instead of away from me, evening, morning, and noon, even while distressed. You do not have to arrive somewhere before this verse applies to you. You have to keep facing me instead of facing away. That's the condition, not perfection, direction. If you have been holding back from bringing me your real burden because you didn't feel worthy of the promise attached to it, hear this clearly. The righteousness in this verse was never about being unshaken already. It's about who you keep calling on while you're being shaken. David wrote this while someone close to him had turned on him. Verse 13 names it plainly: not an enemy, but a companion, a close friend, someone he once walked to worship with. That's a specific kind of pain. Betrayal from someone who was supposed to be safe. If you're carrying that particular ache tonight, the friend who left, the family member who chose the other side, the person who knew you and still walked away, you are standing exactly where David stood when I gave him this verse, not after his situation resolved, in the middle of it. While the betrayal was still fresh, while his world was still unstable, while he still hadn't slept. Here is the lie I want to dismantle for you, that my sustaining only starts once your circumstances calm down, that you have to get through the hard part on your own first, and I show up on the other side to help you recover. That timing is something you have to earn through endurance. That is not what happened to David, and it is not what I am offering you. The verse doesn't say, cast your cares once they're resolved and I'll congratulate you. It says, cast them now, mid-crisis, mid-mess, while the friend is still gone, while the diagnosis is still unclear, while the bills are still due, while you still don't know how this ends. The sustaining is for the middle. That's the only place burdens exist to be cast in the first place. You do not need to have your composure back before I meet you. You do not need to stop crying, stop shaking, stop feeling exposed. David wrote this verse from inside the wreckage, not from a mountaintop looking back at it. Whatever you're waiting to have figured out before you bring it to me, bring it now, unfigured. That's not despite the promise. That's exactly who the promise is for. Here is what I want you to actually do, not just feel. Name the weight out loud, not in general, specifically, not my anxiety, but the actual thing underneath it. The relationship, the diagnosis, the debt, the fear that keeps you up. Say it with your mouth, even if you're alone in a room right now. Peter, writing to people scattered and suffering, put it this way: cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Notice, all, not the manageable parts, all of it, spoken and released. Then do what David did in verse 17, bring it to me on a rhythm, not once and hoping it sticks. Evening, morning, noon, when you wake, hand it to me again. At midday, when it creeps back in, hand it to me again. Before sleep, one more time. This is not weakness or repetition, because the first throw didn't work. It's how you keep your hands empty in a world that keeps trying to hand the weight back to you. I am asking you to speak this to me right now, in your own words. I am casting this to you. I am not managing it anymore. I am not carrying it anymore. It is yours. Say the specific thing. Say it like you mean it, because throwing requires force, not a whisper. And then, this is the part most people skip. Stop reaching back for it. When the fear resurfaces tomorrow, that is not proof the casting failed. That's the moment to throw it again. Sustaining is not a single rescue. It's an ongoing feeding, an ongoing carrying, which means your part is ongoing too. Not gripping tighter out of fear it didn't land, but releasing again, evening, morning, noon, for as long as it takes. This is your sign to stop holding the thing you keep saying you've already given me. Most people quote verse 22 and stop there, but read what comes right after it. Verse 23, but you, God, will bring down the wicked into the pit of decay. The bloodthirsty and deceitful will not live out half their days. David doesn't end on comfort alone. He ends on me handling what he couldn't. The friend who betrayed him, the deceit that wounded him. David doesn't say he fixed it, forgave it on his own strength, or found peace by sheer willpower. He says, I will deal with it. That's not vengeance for its own sake, it's release. He stopped being the one responsible for making it right. And then the very last line of the psalm, but as for me, I trust in you. That's the sequence most people miss. He casts the burden, verse 22, He hands me the justice he couldn't deliver himself. Verse 23, and only then does he land on trust, the final line. Trust wasn't his starting point, it was where the casting led him. If you've been waiting to feel trust before you throw the burden, you have the order backward. David didn't trust his way into casting. He cast, and the trust settled after, like sediment after the water stops moving. You don't have to feel steady to start. You have to throw first. One more time, slowly. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Here is what I'm asking of you tonight. One action tied to one word: cast. Not hold, not manage, not carry a little longer until you feel ready. Say the thing out loud right now, the specific weight you've been holding, and let it leave your hands. Then tomorrow morning, do it again. Evening, morning, noon, for as long as it takes. I am not waiting for you to arrive somewhere before I sustain you. I am not waiting for the friend to come back, the answer to arrive, the fear to quiet down. I am near to you. I have been the whole time.